Last night, Connor hit me with his pickleball paddle.
Like on purpose?
It was, I don't know. It was kind of in between. I can't quite tell. He smacked my pinky very hard.
Oh.
You said it didn't hurt.
It didn't hurt.
Hold on.
It didn't hurt at all.
I feel like I need to ask, were you playing pickleball or did you just get hit with
I ended up playing
just
tennis.
came over?
I played tennis. He played pickleball. We were playing together, but on different courts. It was the same group.
Okay. That makes more sense. I was
standing next to him, and we were deciding who was playing pickleball and who was playing tennis, and then he moved his hand, and you just heard... That was the noise it made. And I was like, ooh! And he goes, oh my gosh, did it hurt? And it didn't hurt. It just made a really loud noise because it hit my knuckle.
Ow.
But it was fine.
It was fun.
I'm fine.
Here you go. You ready?
Oh.
Welcome into the Banter. The show where the light doesn't change and Connor's beard's red.
The light doesn't change, and neither does the personality
Does
of the
that
show.
work? I don't think that works.
It works. You put your other hand higher. Yeah. Oh!
Yeah.
There it is.
There we go. Sorry, I shouted.
I'm a conductor of electricity.
Before we get too far into the Banter
Hunter, you didn't want to go
episode,
headphones today?
I took them home. I brought them back. They're just at my desk somewhere. I didn't want to run the cord.
Hunter,
plug it
they're
up.
right there beside you.
Oh. I thought I left them on my desk. I got over here and I was like, man, I really don't want to walk back to my desk.
Yeah.
Before we get too far into... Wow, I can't hear anything right now.
He didn't plug them in, everybody. That was the joke. If you're just listening, Hunter didn't plug them in. Also, if you're just listening, he wasn't wearing headphones at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, now you can tell I'm way more up on my mic now. Before we get too far into bantering, though, because this is getting quite bantery.
Yeah, we're getting there
take a
fast.
moment to thank our sponsor of today's episode, Double G Craft Jerky.
Heck yeah.
If you haven't had a chance to try Double G Craft Jerky, from what I hear, you're missing out. I'm actually allergic to red meat, but it's okay because I'm going to tell you about something that I can have and I can vouch for here in a second. But everyone else in this room can vouch for all of their great
Jerky's
flavors.
very good.
They got
Brad,
some-
what's your favorite flavor?
I love the garlic lover's dream. That's my favorite one. And
Nice.
look at me. I'm the guy that knows about jerky.
You do kind of
That
look
guy-
like a jerky guy.
Switch the camera. That guy knows about jerky.
What's your favorite flavor, Connor?
My favorite flavor is the Sexton Sweet and Spicy.
Sexton
That
Sweet
was
and
good,
Spicy.
too.
So the other flavors I got a little hot boom sauce. The Sexton Sweet and Spicy is apparently their best seller. So
It makes
Connor
sense.
just goes with the crowd. Then you got the McBeast Barbecue, also a top seller. Original
Sounds
Smashed
good.
Cracked Pepper,
good, too.
Teriyaki, and Paul's Max Weight Original. Plus, every bag sold contributes to the promotion of disc golf to youth. They've bought discs and baskets for inner city children. They've donated thousands of families in need for money for an event through the Double G Children's Foundation. And with every bag of the McBeast and the Max Weight sold, money's also donated to Paul Macbeth Foundation. And they also offer 1 ounce bags. It's a huge hit for players packs and other fun little goodies like that. Because who wouldn't enjoy a bag out there
or
on the course?
subscription boxes.
And
that's
they
a great
also,
idea.
speaking of subscriptions, they offer subscriptions. They have the best jerky delivered to you every month, or you can go 3, 6, 12-month options, as many bags as you would like. And that you can buy them over at Double G Craft Jerky's website, and you can save 10% with the code Foundation. Links in the description down below. And what I can personally vouch for is they also have opened up a snack division of Double G, and their trail mix is, in my opinion, some of the best trail mix I've ever put in my mouth. Mainly what separates them from your typical trail mix, you go to the, you pop into a gas station, you buy some trail mix for a round. We've all done it. What separates them, they have candied nuts in there. So you have the M&Ms and you have candied nuts, a little double sweet factor, which if you're like me, I end up mid-round just pulling all the M&Ms out anyways. Now I'm pulling all the M&Ms and candied nuts out. So be sure you can use code Foundation to save on that as well. Again, links in the description down below. And thanks to Double G for sponsoring today's episode.
Thank
If
you.
you guys had a jerky company, just what would the name be?
Thunderbird jerky.
Oh,
What the heck? That's an incredible name. That's a perfect jerky name.
wow.
You can't beat that.
I can't.
Next one,
I
tomahawk
can't.
jerky.
Tomahawk jerky. Oh my gosh, Brad! You can't take all the good names.
Sabertooth.
A grindstone.
Oh, grindstone.
Mortal and Pestle.
I think grindstone might be the best.
Grindstone's good one.
Grindstone
Thunderbird's also great.
I think I might would go for grit jerky.
Grit's nice.
Grit. Yeah, maybe.
I feel like that would be like really chewy.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with Tough Man.
Tough man.
Tough
Big
Man Jerky
man.
Co.
I'm going sunburnt skin jerky.
Leather
going-
seats.
I'm going sunburnt Silverado.
Is that a song or is
Yes,
that
it is.
jerky?
It is.
No,
a
that's
song.
like a flavor. I think that's a flavor.
Sunburnt Silverado.
Yeah, there you go.
I think
That's
I might.
a great. Have you ever noticed like vehicle collars, like the paint collars, like that sounds like, but not on a Silverado, just something else. Like
Yeah.
there's a
Like
random
on
color.
a Corvette.
Yeah.
They have a sunburnt Silverado.
Oh, heck yeah.
Corvette.
I'm referring to the song.
I didn't know that was actually a song. I didn't know that was a song. Never mind. I just said never motto.
Never motto.
You know, we were talking before this about in disc golf, in case you're not a disc golfer, there's one company, there's actually multiple companies that do this, but the most prominent is MVP, is the name of a manufacturer. Mm-hmm. They make a company called Streamline. And Streamline is basically just a different type of their plastic. And then they make that same Streamline plastic for like 4 or 5 other companies in disc golf now. So like if you buy Mint Discs, if you buy Thought Space Athletics, and I think there's one other one, Remix Disc Golf on Amazon. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of them. And then I just saw a new company called Jester Discs, also Streamlined. So it's all the exact same plastic. They just have different molds.
Maybe.
What other industry is this happening in?
Every industry.
But like, what's some specifics? Like obviously Lexus and Toyota and like stuff like that.
But that's like,
that's slightly different because they're at least like putting nicer materials.
It's like a different line.
This is like the only thing different is the branding.
Well, it was happening. So it's not as popular with cars now. It was back in the day very popular because you would have things like the Ford Escape was also the Mazda something. GMC made a.
Wasn't the Jimmy?
Has the Jimmy, which is the same thing as the Trailblazer.
Yeah.
Like you have those things, and now we have the BRZ and the Silas. What's the other one? Was it? The FRS, the Subaru FRS are the same, and then Toyota makes the what's it called, Silas? What's the Toyota one?
Supra.
Toyota 86. Yep, that's it.
What I meant.
And so those are all
another question.
The exact same. Those are all the exact same car, and so like we that happened a lot in cars where they like
were they
companies
like the
would buy the other
exact or like they changed like
they would change
colors
interior.
Or they change the interior?
Yeah, because they would basically buy the chassis.
Okay.
So engines and
the
everything
bones
was
were
the
the
same,
same.
but the different interiors. So it's not exactly the same, but it did happen in
for
cars.
like the Jimmy and the Trailblazer, the outside, the shell was the same too, right?
Yeah.
Like they looked identical.
No, yeah, it's
kind of like the Yukon and the Suburban. I found out are the same car.
Yeah, same.
Just like different
or
branding.
the Escalade and the.
They might be the same. I think it's
Yukon.
the Escalade, the Subaru, the Suburban.
But those are
and
all
the,
GM though, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like that's the same thing. It's like MVP. Well, kind of the same thing. Because I'm sure on an operational level, surely like Chevy, GMC, and Cadillac are all operating different as different companies.
I don't know.
Surely.
I don't know if they have.
What other companies? What other like areas did that happen in though? I feel like it had to have happened somewhere.
I know sunglasses are like all, but at least like Oakley. Like if I handed you a pair of Oakleys and a pair of Ray-Bans, you wouldn't know they're from the same manufacturer. Like you wouldn't like if I handed you a Lobster and a Mustang, you'd think they're from the same company.
Yeah.
Those are the same company.
Let's say they are.
See, I got myself mixed up. If I handed you a Pathfinder and a Mustang, you might even think they're the same disc.
That's true.
I think so. I know that a lot of fishing reels are made in the same company as the really expensive. Like there's
lures is probably dirty. I bet they're all coming from the same place.
Not all of them, because there's a lot of handmade. Like fishing lures are really easy to make because at the end of the day, you just have a die cast and you have a
silicone or something.
Yeah. So their lures are pretty easy to get creative with. Like they'll continue to just come out with new crazy lures. But whenever it comes to like reels and stuff, I know that. There's a lot of companies that claim made in the same factory as Daiwa or made in the same factory as Shimano.
May contain peanuts.
Wow.
And so,
is that like? I'm surprised that doesn't like cross some type of like legal line.
Well, because they're all technically outsourcing their manufacturing, so they're all just outsourcing to the same factory. However, it doesn't always mean that they're made at the same quality.
Yeah, but it like feels like that.
Well, that's
it's at least made like. Yeah.
Like if I see that on if I walked in and there was some unnamed shoe brand and it was like $10 for these shoes and the Nike shoes were like 120 and it said made at the same factory as Nike,
I'd buy them.
My gut goes, oh, these are Nike shoes.
Yeah.
Not true.
No.
But that's what you would think because it just says made in the same factory.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at brands,
I mean, a Nissan Versa and a Nissan GTR are made in the same factory.
That's true.
And the Versa's way faster.
Well, I think the model really is like, okay, you have, hey, this manufacturer makes blinds, like for windows, right? And then you have like a company like Walmart comes in and they have like their Better Homes line, and then Lowe's has, I forget what their like line is for that stuff, like their name brand stuff. And like those companies will come in and they'll allocate machine time and labor time for those things, and then it may be the quality is probably very similar, but they also may have like different types of machines or different like quality machines, and like, oh, okay, well, Walmart, you can have this amount of machine time and labor time on these for this discount because they're not quite the quality, or they're an older machine or whatever. So I think that happens a lot in retail, like just like your normal like home goods retail.
Why would Walmart, because like Target has what's Target, like Target's Fit brand is called Active something,
I can't remember.
when they're like Walmart's food brand's called Great Value. But I wonder why do they create that separate brand? Like, why not just put Walmart's logo on the cereal box?
Because I think that just
There's a
I think that just
Is there
doesn't-
would I subconsciously not buy it if it
Yes.
said Walmart, but I will
think
buy it
so.
because it says Great Value?
I think so.
You can, well, and you can also brand it separately from your company if you need to. Like they have a lot of freedom to manipulate that company and brand versus like Walmart is Walmart and they have that brand. If they can't just change their grape brand if they want to keep their regular branding the same.
You know, it's
what I mean?
fascinating.
They also don't have the overhead of like the manufacturing facility, the
Yeah.
labor, the specialty, like, you know what I mean? Granted, this Walmart's a big scale that we're talking about, but it makes more sense for them to pay like a little bit more, but let someone else have all that other risk.
It's fascinating that like, I guess you don't have an option if you're like a Kellogg's.
Yeah.
Because like you're selling to Walmart,
Mm-hmm.
and then Walmart is just like, we're gonna undercut you on our own shelves. You cool with that? And like, well, I guess what do you say? No.
They're still
And
making
not go to Walmart.
they're still making they're still making a profit though, based on, you know, their cost and then selling to Walmart. They're still making a profit, and it's in the way that Walmart's a volume play, Kellogg's a volume play on the reverse end of the wholesale side because they're doing so much quantity.
Yeah. Well, I guess because like Kellogg's, you're not going direct to consumer with cereal.
Not really.
Like I'm not going to Kellogg's.com.
No.
Magic Spoon or something where it's very niche.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
But Magic Spoon's even on, I think I saw it
It's at
Fresh
Walmart.
Market.
It's
Or
at
is it
Walmart.
Walmart? Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Magic Spoon's made it mainstream.
And even like, you know, Kellogg, again, think about it on the reverse side, the same way that Walmart doesn't want to deal with like, hey, we're going to have all these specialty cereal making machines and all this stuff. But also Kellogg, Walmart's a distribution company too. So Kellogg now doesn't have to invest all this money on supply chain and distribution. They're using Walmart or these big organizations for that.
I just wonder if that was ever like a scary moment of Walmart, if like they started getting into like undercutting the people they're carrying on their shelves. If they were ever like, but what do we do? But realistically, like if I'm shopping at Kroger, regardless. That's the grocery store I enjoy the most.
Good atmosphere.
If I walk into the Kroger here and out of nowhere they weren't carrying Kellogg's and they replaced them all with, because most companies are making the same type of cereal,
Yeah.
and they replaced it all with, you know, some other brand, because Kellogg's is the only cereal brand I can think of, some other cereal brand,
General Mills.
and like
they
instead of getting my Reese's Pieces, I got to get, or Reese's Puffs, which I think General Mills makes, instead of getting Cocoa Puffs, I got to get Reese's Puffs. Like I'm not shopping at Kroger. I'm gonna walk down to Food Line to make sure I can get my Kellogg's. I'm sure there's some people that are diehard Kellogg's fans, but I'm just being like, well, that sucks. Looks like I'm going Reese's Puffs.
Yeah.
I guess it's a
Yeah,
little bit of a
I don't
different
know.
market, the grocery market, because like people aren't shopping at Kroger specifically to buy Kellogg's. People are buying Kellogg's because they recognize the brand in Kroger.
Yeah.
Kroger has all the chips there, I feel like.
The business
Literally all the chips.
Yeah, all of the chips. The business model in retail, like grocery chains, is just fascinating. If you get into like all of it, like companies will bid for like which shelf they're on, if they're on an eye level, if they're the right, it's like this big thing.
Yeah.
It's not.
Well, that's what so Great Value at Walmart and whatever Kroger's brand, they're always on the bottom shelf. Because whenever I'll get to like the peanut butter section, I'm looking at like Jif and Peter Pan, and I'm like, oh, Hunter, just look down. I'm like, oh, I just saved $2.
Yeah.
I love Great Value stuff.
I think it's great value.
I realize that one thing that I'm passionate about in life is finding things that are either smaller brand or like off-brand items that are as good, sometimes better than the name brand for way cheaper. That's fun to me.
It's very fun.
Like I love finding things that are like sneaky, like high quality products that like you can get for way cheaper. That's fun. Now, would that be as fun for me if I was a very wealthy man? Probably not, because I would just buy the most expensive thing because it's cooler. But
Is it though?
well, see, I can't tell.
It's a personality type.
yeah, I can't tell if it's like Maybe I've just turned something that was a necessity for me into a passion. Maybe that's what it was.
Because like I think that's very like, because sometimes you can trick yourself into I paid less for this, and so it makes it almost taste better.
Yeah, that is very true.
Like I've had Oreos that realistically, if you gave me a blind taste test and someone else bought them, they don't compare to name brand Oreos. But now that I know I saved like $3 buying these and I got way more quantity, best Oreos I've ever had.
Like I think like we talked about like a few weeks ago the Harbor Freight tools and stuff like that. Like I would almost in buying the Harbor Freight tools that I've seen in a video, a comparison against Snap-on and outperform them, I would like with pride have this and be like, this is cool. This is a brand that no one knows, but it's like really good, better than the top competing brand. And like that would be fun for me.
Now I will say my parents, so they were like hard couponers when I was growing up.
Okay.
Like hardcore, which we were a family of 5 total. So they were able to buy, they were at that line where like you can buy stuff in bulk, especially when my brother and I were both teenagers. We ate a lot of food. So they were like buying stuff in bulk, and like if they bought stuff that like is gonna go bad eventually, but you got months and stored some in the basement, we were gonna go through it. Like we would have peanut butter jars out the wazoo, because if they saw a coupon where you buy, if you buy 10, you save like $3 each or whatever the crazy coupon is, they're going and buying 20. You know what I'm saying? Like because it's peanut butter, it's not gonna go bad. So that's how my parents always were, and now they're empty nesters. We've all moved out. And they still can't pass up a deal. So it is like without fail, I will go up there and they'll be like, "Hey, Hunter, do you still eat some cereal I haven't had since I was like a freshman in high school? Do you still eat Fruity Pebbles?" And I'm like, not really. They're like, "Well, man, there was a deal of buy 2 get 3 free, and it was such a good deal that we did it, but like we just don't eat the cereal. Do you want 5 boxes?" I was like, "I'll take a box." But that's all I want. I'm not buying. And they just like, so that is without fail. Because my dad, it was his routine. He'd get off work and he would just go to the grocery store every day and just look at the deals and buy what he needed. And my mom would go grocery shopping on like Sundays to just like top off if we needed something specific. But every day my dad would go look at the deals, and that was like what we ate. It was like whatever's the deals. He still does that, and it's just 2 of them.
So funny.
Wow. And at this point, my mom like loved cooking, but she's cooked for, I'm 26. My sister's 30. So she's cooked like every meal for the entire family for like probably 30 years. So now they just eat out, because realistically, it's probably about the same for 2 people to eat out than to cook for 5. So they just eat out most meals. Like every night they're going to a different restaurant around here.
Okay.
So they don't really cook much. But my dad still goes to the grocery store pretty much every day. And so you walk in, routine. You walk in and their pantries are just full. And I'm like, "What are you guys doing?" And like, it's to the point where they obviously are grandparent. Now they have 5, almost 6 grandkids. My sister is due in September, which is number 6.
I was really confused by that statement.
Yeah, so they have 5 grandkids, and the oldest are 4, and then they have 2 at like a year and a half, and Luca's the youngest right now at almost a year. And so they've turned the basement into a playroom. And so over the last 4 years, they've just slowly bought like playhouses and different like things. And
dude, it's like a kid's dream down there.
Yeah, it's
whenever I walk down
crazy.
there, I want to play down there.
Yeah, but they can't pass up deals on kids' toys either.
Oh no!
So like I came up there.
That's a good spot to be in as a grandparent.
It is. But we had to like draw a line, and it didn't offend my parents by any means. But like our house, we don't have enough room. Like we can make Luca a playroom, but then as soon as we have a second kid, that's the second kid's room. So we don't want to make him a playroom, because we don't want to have to be like, we have all these toys and now where do they go?
Yeah.
We just want to like, he has a few toys that he likes, and we just rotate those with his age, and we put them in a box, and then his brother or sister in the future, that's going to be their toys. So we had to like tell my parents like, "Hey, I understand my sister and my brother both have a lot bigger houses than me, and they have playrooms and basements that are like full of toys. We can't do that." I was like, "So if you want to buy Luca a really big toy, you can buy it. It's got to be at your house." And my parents have been very respectful of that. But for Heather and Jimmy, my brother and sister, they've bought them just like big toys after big toys. And like Heather's like, "Mom, you got to stop." And so now they buy it for their house. And so I walked in, it might have been July 4th. And my dad was building this like little log cabin for the 4-year-olds. I say little, it's big enough for a 4-year-old to like walk in and play.
Oh,
in.
dang.
And I was like, I thought we had one of these downstairs. She's like, yeah, I bought him one back like 2 years ago for Christmas. He's like, but I walked into Sam's and like, this is the wood fire ones. This is the one with like a wood pizza oven on the outside. It's a fake pizza oven. He's like, and it was marked down to only $120. I was like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, it's normally like $700. He's like, but it was the floor model, and they're trying to clear it out.
He can't pass it up. He can't do it.
He's like, so they're gonna enjoy it, and like for $120, like I saved so much money, I had to get it. And I was like, well, where are we gonna put it? He's like, well, that's what I need your help with. We got to figure it out. And so he's like, let's just carry it get downstairs. So he built it outside, and we carry it around the house, and we bring it in. And I open the door, and I'm like, Dad, there's no room. Like it's a big house. I'm like, we can't. He's like, well, maybe we can move the pool table around and outside. I'm like, okay, but someone's got to take this pool table or something first. Like, we can't just put it outside. Like, no one's using it. He's like, yeah. How heavy is that foosball table? Maybe we can just donate that to a youth group or something to put it there. I'm like, but what if someone wants to play foosball? Like, they already have a house. He's like, I know. He's like, okay. So we moved all the houses, and we put it to where like there's just enough room for both the doors to open, and that's it. And we walk upstairs, and he came upstairs behind me, and I like walked up, and I was like laughing to myself because like, what? Like, they have a problem. And then he got upstairs, and my mom was like, how did it work? You think they're gonna enjoy it down there? He's like, they're gonna enjoy it, but man, I shouldn't have bought it. We had too much down there. I shouldn't have bought it. He's like, but it's just too good of a deal. I was like, well, Dad, it was still $120. He's like, yeah, but I saved $500. I was like, but you still spent $120.
Yeah, no, you didn't, because you weren't gonna buy.
You didn't need to buy it. It still cost you.
I understand the mindset though. Whenever I see a crazy good deal, my mind immediately goes to, I'm losing money if I don't buy.
Well,
this.
That's how. Yeah. So, Liz, we're in the process of cleaning out our basement. Our basement has gotten pretty out of control. And it's just over the years, we just have stored so much down there because we've been in our house a little over 5 years now. And we've just accumulated most of it junk over the years, and like old clothes and all this. And like one of the things, the big item, and Liz is a very much, we don't use it. It's stored in our basement. It's been down here for years. Take it to the dump. Mm-hmm. I walk down there, and so like the first item is we bought this bench from Target. We put it out front of our house. We don't have a front porch, but we have just like a front stoop, and there's enough room that you can like sit out there. Yeah. So we used to enjoy sitting out and like watching the rain. So we bought this bench. Well, then Liz didn't like the color of the bench, so I spray painted the bench black. Looks great. Well, but then in the summer we're kind of in the woods. And so in the summer, like spiders would get on it. And once the spider made a web, Liz doesn't want to sit out there anymore. And so like I'd constantly clean it. It just became a hassle. Eventually we just weren't using it. So I was like, let's just put it in the basement. Put it in the basement. This has like been 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. Have not touched it for 3 years. That bench has no value to us anymore. Mm-hmm. So I walk down there, and Liz is like, yeah, I guess the bench is probably the biggest item in this corner. Go ahead and take that to the dump first. I was like, I can't take this to the dump. She's like, it's been down here 3 years. I was like, but Liz, it's a perfectly good bench. Like, look at it. Like, we can use it somewhere. She's like, Hunter, it's been down here 3 years. We're not going to use it anywhere. And so we just got in this argument back and forth of, I'm like, well, someone can use it. Like, what if I just like list it for free on Facebook Marketplace? She's like, I don't want someone coming to our house. Just take it to the dump and like give it to the people at the dump and ask them to use it. Yeah. I'm like, no, like, this has value to someone. I can't throw it out. And she's like, it has no value to us. Throw it out. I went back and forth. It's still in the basement. Yeah. I just put it back. I was like, let me put it back in the corner. If you're finding
stuff like that in the basement, you're like, I don't know what to do with this. Just give it to me, and if I sell it on Facebook Marketplace, I'll give you half the money.
Do you want a bench to sell on Facebook Marketplace?
Yes.
Okay, I'll bring it to work.
Do you still have that? You still have that truck rack?
Yeah, it's yours whenever you want it.
Okay, cool. I just make sure you didn't.
I didn't throw it out.
It would be my fault if you did.
It's very heavy, so I can't move it.
Okay.
But yeah,
maybe I'll come get it tonight on the way to youth.
I think I can. Okay. I think I can relate to that. I feel like I'm the same way too. There's just, I don't know.
Objects just have an innate value, even if it's not to you.
Yeah,
oh, I'm a hardcore hoarder. I can't get rid of stuff. My wife is a minimalist. Yeah. The problem is that I am coined what I call a maximalist. I keep everything and I want everything. Yeah. I can't go to yard sales or I just want it all.
Let's be clear. I've caused the problem in the basement because most of what is in our basement is my wife handing me something saying, take this to the dump, and I'm going, well, but this box is too nice from Apple. I need to put it in the basement.
Oh, boxes.
Like Liz, we had our Peloton, my sister. So I think I've told the Peloton story before, how I ended up with the Peloton. Mm-hmm. Ended up with the Peloton, and it came with the fantastic shoebox.
Oh.
It like is a magnet, flips open, had your biking shoes in there, and had the 2 weights for the Peloton.
It's like an actual shoebox.
Like it's an actual shoebox, but it is so nice. Like it's that
Yeah.
You know that like soft feel?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's like somehow velvet cardboard.
Yes.
I don't know how it works.
Oh, it's fantastic. So Liz is like, hey, throw this out. I took it to the basement, put it on a shelf because I'm like, I might want. What if we move one day and I need to put the shoes back in the box? And it's too nice of a box to throw out. So we go down there, and she walks down there with me. We put Luca down for a nap. We walk down there, and we're like, I have a bag, and I'm putting trash in it, and I'm trying to be like I threw out a lot of old T-shirts and like that had holes in them and stuff that I've just was keeping because I've had it since I was a freshman in high school. I need to keep this shirt. Old Hunter would be so upset at me if I threw it out. That's how I think about clothes. And we get to this box. She's like, I told you to throw that out like 3 years ago. I was like, but Liz, feel the box. She's like, put it in the trash bag now. I was like, I can't do it. I threw it out. I was proud of myself. I got to that point.
I'm proud of you.
I will not throw out my Apple boxes. I draw a line there.
I finally threw out my Apple boxes like last year. I had every iPhone from the very first iPhone. I had all the boxes from all the iPads,
that's awesome.
iMacs, all that, and I finally threw them away.
I threw away my iMac box just because it was too big, but my iPad, MacBook Pro, my original MacBook box, well, not original MacBook, original to me MacBook, all my iPhone, they're just too nice of boxes. I just stack them all. They look kind of cool on a shelf too.
They do.
I had my box for my One Wheel and for my weed eater. Still, like from that, I had them for 2 years. And in our old house, the problem is in our old house, we didn't have space for anything. Like we were using underneath every bed was crammed full of stuff. Every closet, which was very tiny, was crammed full of stuff. Like we didn't have space for anything and we used it all. And so I was thinking like, we'll finally have a place to organize this stuff. We moved into our new house and it's like, we haven't even, like, we just have stuff in the rooms. We haven't even made a dent in the actual storage space. So, like, down in, like, the crawl space and in the attic doesn't even have anything in it yet. And I've got a tool shed that barely has anything in it. And now I'm like, I need to fill this. I need to put so much stuff in here.
I have a problem with, like, mine's less, like, boxes and stuff. Also, our boxes kind of, like, are nice boxes kind of like your trophy for buying the nice thing? Is that why we keep them?
I don't know.
I keep it because like
I feel like
in
someone worked so hard on it
Yeah.
that I can't get rid of it.
You're like, this company, this box cost them like $3.
So I think I'm like, if it comes with a warranty, so like a weed eater typically comes with like a year warranty. If I need to send it back, then I have the box. If I want to return it, then I have the box. If I want to resell it, having the box with it immediately boosts up the value. So I just like, there's so many reasons to keep the box. It just feels like what I'm supposed to do. Also, maybe it's like a little bit of like, I'm not positive that like that this is a permanent thing I have yet. So I need to keep the box in case it's not. But then I finally threw out the One Wheel and box because I was like, one, the warranty's voided on these. I've had them for 2 years. And then the One Wheel was used whenever I bought it. Whenever it was bought for me. So like, yeah, I couldn't even return it if I wanted to. It was just the One Wheel box was just a really nice box.
That's what I'm saying.
It
When
had
it's
like
a
a
nice
handle
box,
on the
you just
top.
can't-
It had like
you
cool
can't
designs.
I
Well, also, like,
I
if you ever
finally
put
threw
it in
them out.
storage, like, as Luke has gotten older, my box hoarding has come in handy because there's been many things like his swing, his old crib, where I kept the box, and it's way easier to store something like that in its box. And so Liz is like, take this to the basement. I'm like, oh, I can do you one better. I'm gonna bring the box up, put it in the box, take it down there, and I bring the box up, and I'm the hero.
Yeah, that's true.
That is very cool. Or if you're moving, or if you need to store something, I got this perfect box, the perfect size.
I've got three. Maybe everyone's kind of in categories. I have three things I kind of will use the word hoard. There's three things I hoard. Number one, tools, like all kinds of tools. I'm at a point in my life where I want my garage, because I built a whole like wraparound workbench in my garage.
Oh, that's so cool.
I want it to be. I want to go out. No, here's what I want. I want my wife or my kids to come to me and say, hey, I need this tool. And I'll be like, it's out in the garage.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want. I want that life. My grandpa was like that. That's probably where I get it. But yeah, anything I needed to build or any tool I needed, he's like, oh yeah, I got it in the garage.
I'm the exact same way.
So I'm kind of like, I'm saying hoarding, but they all have a purpose.
That's not hoarding. Yeah.
Like, why do I have a wet tile cutting saw? I use it one time, but
But you might use it more
There
than
might be
once.
one other time. Yeah.
Someone's going to need it also.
Yep.
And I want to be that guy. The second thing I hoard, like, if I find good deals on like non-perishable medical supplies,
Oh, fascinating.
That's hoarding.
Okay.
But it's useful.
Yeah.
It's more useful than what I'm about to talk about, hoarding.
Yeah. Well, my third.
Oh,
one's
yeah,
way
same.
less
Yeah,
useful.
you just wait.
But no, like, Band-Aids, gauzes, wraps, ointments, blood clotting tourniquets. Like, I got a bunch of that. Like,
Wow. I mean, technically, it is useful.
It's useful.
It
yeah,
is useful.
Well, I
yeah.
don't. I mean, I have.
The amount of time that I've cut myself in my house unintentionally and not had a Band-Aid is ridiculous.
Oh, well, that's never happened in my house.
I have a bunch of Band-Aids because whenever I did the live stream of me trying to ace for 9 hours, so many people brought me packs of Band-Aids.
That's so funny.
And I was like, I need a whenever I sliced bottom of my foot on a rock, Gabby was like, we've got 3 different kinds of Band-Aids you can choose from. I was like, oh, sick.
Yeah.
It's nice.
And then, so yeah, I keep that, and I don't know. I have all that stuff. So I can treat a lot of different injuries at my house. I have a walk-in, like, I call it the store at my house. So you walk, I have a storage room. You walk in. There's like shelves lining all the walls. Like, there's like medical supplies on this big like 4-tier shelf. I have one that has like paper towels, napkins, toilet paper, tissues, all that like on another one. And then the rest of them around have like different like food items. So like canned goods.
Brad, I need to
whatever.
go to your house because I feel like it's exactly like how I want to be.
And then I have like extra like. I think I have right
Probably
now.
a little more organized than I would be, though.
Well, my wife helps that. I'm not a very big help
Okay.
there. But
Well,
I think
then
I
it
have
is the
like,
same then.
I don't know, 20 or 30. No. Well, I have 50 now. 50 like gallons of water. Like,
Oh my
treated
God.
Daggone.
there. And so, yeah, I have like, it's the store.
It's your survivor shelf.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because we'll be out of something like, and the boys are like, oh, Dad, do we have any more? Like the other day this happened. Oh, do we have any more freeze dried apples? For their trail mix, calm down, everybody. And then I'm like, yeah, you should go to the store. And they come up and there's a pack of them. Because usually when I go to the store, again, perishable stuff's different. Like
The grocery store or your storage room?
the outside store.
Outside
the grocery
store.
store.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
If we need something that's like I can put down in our like storage shelf, I'm buying 2 or 3.
Yeah.
That way I'm like, oh, my life is like I'm trying to go to the grocery store as the least amount possible.
It's fair.
Okay, third item that I hoard, Lego.
Yeah.
I don't think Trevor has seen it. I don't think anybody else.
I've never been to your house.
Okay, well, we need to change that. I think we're gonna have a weekly. We need to have a weekly at my course one
Let's
week.
do it.
It'll be fun.
I don't
That
normally
sounds like
make the
fun.
weeklies, but I'll try.
You can
make that one.
You can make that one. So no, I'll look for Lego deals like wherever we are. It does not matter. That is like a passion of mine, is finding Lego for cheap. And then we're talking about keeping boxes. So you know the big Lego modulars, right?
Yeah.
Like the buildings. I've bought. They come out every year. I have all of them for the last like 8 or 9 years, and those boxes will typically, just the box will sell for like $40 or $50 just by themselves.
Oh, that's crazy.
Lego's a good investment. Like one, for instance, there's a
Oh,
bank
yeah.
that
They
came out a
hold their
couple years
value
ago.
so well.
I paid $160 for it. It's worth like $400 now, and it's only a couple years later. Anyway, so I kept all those boxes. Now my basement flooded for the first time since I moved here this last weekend because of a
lot of rain.
And unfortunately, I got all my boxes.
No.
My Lego I had a stack. You can't see it, but I couldn't even grab the whole stack of
Wow.
Lego boxes.
That's
but
brutal.
We're just I have a full Lego room in my house now. Shout out to my wife who puts up with my weird hobbies and obsessions. But yeah, it has like all the way around all the walls, like storage bins, floor to like waist level. Right now, I'll probably change that later. I have a full display shelf that takes up a full like 8-foot wall. I have a desk in there to build. I have a bunch of unbuilt sets.
I love
and
Legos.
That's fun.
It's crazy. So
It was
that's
my dad and I's like tradition. Like they come out the Christmas one
Yeah.
every year. My dad he's always done this. I think he still does it. I need to actually double check with him because he started when I was in like high school. Actually, it started when I got mono in 9th grade because we needed something to do. And what he would do is he'd buy 2, if he could get his hands on them, 2 of the Christmas sets. 1 for us to build, 1 to put on a shelf, he said, for like my kids in the future, is what he always said. And so every Christmas we would build it, and then it just went on and on and on. And then once I got married, my like first 2 years married, I still went up to my dad's house and like once a week or so and helped him build the Christmas set. And then like last year, he wanted my niece to do it with him, but she's 3.5. Or she might have just turned 4. She didn't have the attention span, so he ended up building it by himself. And he was like showing me it, and he thought it was like so cool. It is very cool. But he was like, always reminds me, like, don't forget, like, when Luca gets older, I've got all the Christmas sets saved. Like, that's his thing. He just buys every
That's
year.
cool.
He buys 2 of them and saves one. And he does the same thing. He checks it on eBay. He's like, man, if Luca ends up not wanting these, like, we can sell them on eBay and make some money.
Yeah. It's funny. So Cohen, my oldest, wanted this particular set that was discontinued, and it was obviously you could buy it for like $150 when it. No, it's probably like closer to $200 when it was out, but of course it was like $400 because it's discontinued in the box and everything. But I had when I used to travel for work, so I would travel around, and like there's a particular time windows at like Target and Walmart that they are allowed to mark down the Lego like extreme. So there was like this Jurassic World set that I found. It was I think $115 set, and I found it at this particular Walmart for $15.
Oh wow!
So I bought it. They only had one, or I'd have bought more. And then I just kind of like put it on my shelf of stuff I didn't build. I'm like, well, I don't know. But it had this particular dinosaur in it from the movie that only came in that set. So like the following year, I sold it for $300.
Jeez.
And then
just the dinosaur or the whole set?
The whole set. It was still in the box. But basically I swapped Cohen for that. I found a good deal, and it was like $340 for the set he wanted.
You paid like $55 for it.
Yeah. So
Dang, that's crazy.
It works out, but you know, I have not only the Lego room, but I have a full it's now 10-foot Lego city with.
That was always one of my dad and I's dreams.
Oh, it has the rows. I'm building a train tunnel now because I have a couple of trains. But underneath of it, it has storage containers up to about waist level. They're all organized by color, brick type, and then application. So they're all like organized underneath through the whole table. So we have a Lego thing.
Because I bought one when I bought a set when Liz was about 8 months pregnant, and I knew I was about to be home for a month. I really overestimated how much free time I thought I was gonna have the first month of Luca's life, because I was like, well, I'm gonna be off work for a month just helping Liz. So my plan was I was gonna paint all the trim, and I already finished his nursery, and we got the floors redone in what's our like workout room. I was gonna paint all the trim in the workout room, and then I bought a Lego set of like, it was like one of the like city ones. It was like 3-story tall. Because my dad and I used to build them, and we had like 4 or 5 buildings in a row, and they're like on a shelf in his house. I was like, this will be perfect. I'll build it during Luca's like first month while I'm off work, and I'll give it to my dad and put it up on the thing as we continue our city. I built the first floor. Was it? I tried so hard to have free time, but when Luca would go down for a nap, typically like Liz or I was holding him, you wanted to sleep for those 2 hours. I didn't want to build Legos because I was like, this is the only sleep I'm going to get today. So, and I never got even close. I didn't even start painting that room. But what I end up hoarding, that's not like benches or cardboard boxes, but like things that I'm told over and over to get rid of that I will never, ever, ever get rid of, is like old hobbies. Anything from an old hobby.
Oh yeah. That's
mainly because like for me, my big hobbies of old are, I used to do a lot of magic and juggling. So I have all of my juggling and magic stored between my parents' house and my house. My parents luckily have an attic that they don't really use. So I have a ton of magic stuff, like a chest full in their attic.
And playing cards. I learned about your playing card collection the other day.
I have a dirty playing card collection, a few hundred cards.
It's incredible.
Decks of cards.
That's cool.
Because once I got really into like,
those would look really good like in a row.
Oh, they're
like
sick.
On a shelf.
Now they're like perfectly stacked in a box. But again, like what I liked about that was I did go through a period where I had like a group over to play games every week. In college, I had it game night, and then after college, some of my really close friends still came over. We played Monopoly mainly, milkshakes and Monopoly we called it. But like it was a very normal thing prior to Luca to have just like at least a group over once a week. And what I loved about it is they'd be like, let's play poker, let's play whatever. And I could just go down and bring up just like a deck that I had done a lot of magic, so I had handled it a lot. So people weren't gonna mess up my cards, because there's some card decks that you don't touch them. But I could always bring up a different one, and people most people have only ever seen like red and blue bicycle decks or like really cheap decks, and you bring up this like white ghost deck or this black and white or black and yellow and like hand it to them. They're like, what the frick is this? That was one of my favorite things. So all of my cards, will not ever sell those. All of my juggling stuff, mainly 2 reasons. 1, I'm always like, well, what if I got back into it? 2, I'm like, young me cared so much about all of these. Like that's still in me a little bit. Like I can't get rid of it, because like young me would kill current me. If they knew like my white monarchs, if I ever sold them or got rid of them, It's just a deck of cards I actually got for free.
Young you'd be like, who have you become?
That's what I'm saying. Like I
We were
can't
supposed to be famous
disappoint
magicians.
I can't disappoint my young self like that. And the other ones, I think the only other one I really hoard is my Rubik's cubes collections.
Yeah.
All like my 3x3s, my Pyramix. I have 5x5s. I have some of the like shape shifting ones, Mega Minks. I actually have the Mega Minks on my desk. I refuse to get rid of those.
That makes sense.
I can't.
I think I relate. Konner has actually benefited from. I was the same way with hobbies. Like I'd have like, oh, you guys have seen the fish tanks at the warehouse. When I get into something, I just like get into it.
Yeah.
That happens a lot. I learned recently that I was diagnosed with ADHD. Go figure. You guys probably already knew that before me. But the problem with that is like I get really into something, find out everything about it, and then I just kind of get bored and move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So but music was never that way. I'm still a musician. I still have music stuff, but I like hoarded a bunch of like cool old gear and instruments and like stands and stuff. But Konner's benefited from that a couple times.
Actually, now that I actually have somewhere to put it, I need to put this guitar stand in my house.
that came from me. I gave it to
I was
Konner.
wondering what that was.
No, I
thought it was like a bike rack off the back of your truck.
Nope. Yeah, it's a
Makes
guitar
more
stand.
sense than guitar stand.
I'll take it home today.
Yeah, but I mean,
It's not taking up too much space.
That
You
was-
could just bring your guitars in here.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Lunch jam sesh. I can play Sweet Child of Mine intro.
Oh, heck yeah.
perfect.
That's all. And Inner Sandman and Crazy Train intro. Only the intros of everything.
No, that's the only part that matters.
Hunter's an intro guy.
Yeah.
Clearly. But yeah, I think the thing that I learned about it, and it's, I mean, maybe a little sad, but not really. But it's when we have something that we're into as a child or like a younger us that we can't or we don't want to move past. Typically, what it is underneath is you felt very in control of who you are in your life at that time, and when you give away that stuff, you're like admitting that you're in a different time, and maybe you don't feel quite as in control of this time as you did the time before. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but I mean,
you're not as comfortable with this period of your life as you were at that one because you've been in it for less time.
Yeah, exactly. Like, now, like I'm speaking for me, like I'm a dad. I have, we're getting ready to foster and adopt another one, and we're in Virginia now. Like, there's all these changes in my life that happened, and in that time when I was doing music all the time and recording and playing shows and traveling for music, it kind of was like just this one thing I was doing.
I get that.
So like that's kind of why what I've learned from like some books I've been reading of why that's maybe hard. And once I admitted that, like it was pretty easy to like get rid of, and number one, just be okay with having a little chaos in your life or a little uncertainty. So, but yeah, like that music was a big one for me. I collected, and it's like your car. It's like, oh, this microphone is special because of this reason, or like I need this synthesizer because it was used for this album, and all that stuff. So.
The big one for me is I'm a very like I guess sentimental is the word, but I need something to remind me of a memory. Like I have all the memories, so like I could sit back and tell you about all the like stuff I did with magic and juggling and different shows I got to do. I could tell you, but I have to be prompted. Like if you ask me, I can remember it all, but I'm not just gonna sit here and think about it. But then I go to my basement and I pull out like I have all my old basketball shoes. And like shoelaces from certain basketball shoes, and like when I look at it, I can remember the games I played with it, or like I have the putters for my first disc golf win, stuff like that. Like that stuff. Liz, my wife, is not sentimental at all. Like she would throw out. I saved every note we ever wrote each other in a box, and like sometimes I'll go down there and just start reading them and just start crying. I'll admit it, but it's like it's sentimental as crap. Because I'll go down there and like everything just has a memory tied to it. So like I pull out a deck of cards and I remember the trick I learned with it. And it just like takes me back to like that. I just remember being that time. And the big thing with it is I remember how excited I felt with X, Y, or Z. Like when I hold I think they were the red PA3s, for instance, are two of my putters. They're the putters that I came in third at nationals with. And when I pick them up, I like remember how proud I was of myself. After that, and that's the same thing with like my running medals on my desk. Like I'm not gonna sit here and just think about the first 5K I did, but as soon as I pick it up, I like am transported back.
Dude, there's something special about discs, like just because you have like such like this is how a lot of inanimate objects are, but discs is like you have such a special relationship with throwing it that like it can take you back so much. Whenever Caleb was in town a few weeks ago, my friend Caleb, who I like one I was telling you about, I like grew up with him and we did everything together until he moved to Indiana a couple years ago. And so like we literally like did every part of our life together. And so we got into disc golf together, and so he was at my house, and he obviously like. He's a kid. He lives in Indiana. There's not in his town. There's not like a huge disc golf scene. Like, so he plays like by himself every once in a while. But he's not like crazy, like buying all these discs and everything. His bag is pretty similar to last time I played with him. And, so he was in, our new house, and all my discs were in boxes. And I was like, do you want to go through let's see some of the cool discs I have? And he was like, yeah, sure. And I hoard discs like crazy. Like, Trevor and Hunter are in a place where like they're able to give away discs and like get rid of them. Like I know you have like your special ones that you don't
I give
do
out
that
of my
with,
bag.
but
There's some discs I will never.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It'll never leave my
I
possession.
can convince myself that I have an emotional attachment to a disc that I didn't even know existed, and you hand me right now. I could be like, if you'd be like, you're like, I will never throw this. It doesn't have a place in my bag. I don't even like it. But then if somebody's like, oh, like he really needs that disc, I'd be like. Well, but
I have it. It's in my hand.
It's
You
my
can't
disc
have it.
though. Yeah.
So
I
good,
like.
yeah.
I have to literally force myself to do that, because whenever I have friends that get into it, I force myself to get rid of discs that I know I don't need, but like I really still want to have. I force myself to give them away so that I don't get too much on this. But I like. If we're ever have discs that we like used for a video or any like the PGA disc, like stuff like that, I'm like, oh, does anybody want this? Yeah, I'll take it, because like I want to like I just like to collect them. But and then I got to satisfy that like urge whenever Trevor was here. I mean, sorry, Caleb was here, and we like sat down on the floor and I opened up all my boxes and we went through all my discs. And like to me, they were just discs that I had for a long time. To him, he kept on looking at me like whoa, and like look at all these discs. And then we were looking at ones from like. There is like this R Pro AVR was the first putter that I ever bought. Well, other than the DX Colt that I bought from Dick's originally, but like this was the first like putter that the first disc I sought out and bought.
Yeah.
And I had it in my bag for so long. It had bite marks on it from my dog. I remember that happening. And like it was the disc that we would play catch with in the parking lot. Like, and he was talking about how like to him how nostalgic that disc was. And like I forgot about that. Like, and then I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, this disc is like crazy.
So it's back in
nostalgic.
your bag?
No, it's not. It's technically illegal, has bite marks on it, but
You don't play tournaments.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
That's what I've told myself.
every weekend. I do.
As I've told myself, I've given up on this is illegal. It can't go in my bag. So I'm like,
Yeah.
Hunter, when are you ever in a tournament?
That's true.
Just take
but
it out,
I
man.
should
Just
put
take it out.
I should put it in my bag. But it was just like really fun to like look at stuff like that's what I like about keeping stuff like that.
I like that too.
Then I also have a very irrational part of me that like last year I went into a Goodwill and I saw a bunch of VHS tapes. And I was like, I like movies. I should collect VHS tapes. And so my wife came in over to that corner in Goodwill, and I was holding a stack of 60 of them, like in my arms. And I was like, they're only 25 cents a piece. And she was like, you're not getting all those. She was like, you can pick 10. And I was like, I can't pick 10. She was like, you can pick 10. And I was like, okay, fine. And so I just
10 or
picked,
you just get none?
I picked 10.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Well, that's
They're
the start
sitting
of
on
the
my shelf,
collection.
and literally the next day I walked in there and I saw them sitting on the shelf, and I was like, why the heck did I get these?
Why did I spend $4 on
I'm
that?
not going to
Is it
get
$4?
more of
No.
them.
So something I'm always collecting, and I still do, and I think it drives my wife nuts. I'm constantly collecting cool, like weird knick-knack decoration things for this fictitious like office I'm going to have at
Yes.
some point.
Oh,
in life.
The
I'm
amount
the
of
same way.
office decorations I have with
Yeah.
no office is ridiculous. Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
Whenever I do have an office, there's not going to be a wall because it's just going to be covered in just pointless
That's
stuff.
the problem. At our old house, I had an office that just never got used because I didn't have a computer
My
at home that
plan
I
is to
could use.
turn part of my basement into my office whenever we finish cleaning it out. That's why I got those like disc racks
Yeah.
for my office.
Okay.
They're down there. My office isn't though.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I have this like particular, and I don't know where like this fascination and
Your
vision.
phone's just blowing up, man.
I know Jesse,
All business
Popular
Brad.
morning.
Avery.
All business Brad.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Brad, I was going to say you should call your store the All Business Brad Bungalow.
Bungalow.
The
Yeah.
bungalow.
I
I
don't
Why not
really
the
know-
bunker? The all business bunker.
He likes that better. He just won't
Yeah,
say
that's
it.
way better.
Um,
Bungalows. I don't even know what a bungalow is.
A shack or like a little hut.
Hey,
I
Brad,
have this
forget the
very-
bungalow thing.
Okay. We'll do that too, okay?
No, don't.
I have this very specific like vision of what I want. Like it's got to be double doors. You walk in and it's like floor to ceiling
It's gotta
like
be double
finished
doors.
wood, right? There's no
That's cool.
It's all wood. They're like these shelving.
We're talking like a
units.
dark wood. Like where are we talking? A
No, I like
natural
more
wood.
of like this. I like more of like a more
Okay.
natural looking
All right.
wood. So I want to. It's going to be modern. It's not going to be like cherry or
Okay,
something
yeah.
stupid like that.
Yeah, idiot.
Stupid. But I've already collected some cool stuff. But I want it to like when you open it, it just smells like rugged sweat,
Oh. Okay.
but not stinky sweat. You're like, there's been a lot of mental sweat in here.
Productiveness.
Mental sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, man, it smells like fear, but also love at the same time. Like
Yeah,
in
you're
this office.
scared of how much you love it.
Yeah. So you walk in, and I've got some really cool stuff. Like and again,
And you see the face of God.
but I have like I have these binoculars that my grandpa gave me from World War II that a Japanese soldier gifted him.
Wow, those things have seen some
That's crazy.
things.
And it's in like this old like worn out leather case that you can put beside it. I have
That's cool.
Another weird set of these tiny teacups made in Japan as well. And then I have like this cool old like lighter. I'm forgetting the name. Oh my gosh.
Zippo?
Like Zippo.
Lighter that from my other grandpa that he like kept in his like shirt pocket.
That's cool.
That has like it just says it has a bulldozer engraved on it. It's like Manly's bulldozing or whatever. Like I have like old like I have a bayonet, like a cool bayonet to put on there. I have a metal like oil can from a Mosin Nagant like rifle.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
just,
so
like,
sick.
You can see like metal,
Yeah.
wood, like
I'm in your office right now.
Yeah,
I
you
love
can-
this
yeah,
place.
Your
Yeah.
office is
I'm scared of how much I
yeah.
love this place.
It's
Well,
so cool.
and that-
I'm afraid of my love right now.
the hawk picture you see.
I'm
over-
afraid of what this love might make me do.
That's the truth. But yeah, you see the hawk poster I have over in like the Atlas room.
Yeah.
That is to go in my office at some point.
That's
it's like a
very
hand painted
cool.
one. And
Now,
Mine are
Brad, I
nowhere
have
near
to
as
ask you
cool.
this.
Most of mine are flags.
You have a lot of things in your house that sound like are, now forgive me for saying this, less efficient and less productive than an office would be. So why don't you have an office yet?
I don't know. I mean,
I didn't mean to like stir something up here.
I can't go to. I did have one. The only place I would have to put an office currently, because again we have another bedroom now. That was where my old office was. The only place I have a place for the office would be in that like one of those two, like either my Lego room or like the storage room.
Or the bunker.
Yeah,
The all business bunker.
the all business bunker.
That's
So-
such a good name.
I know. Well,
I was trying so hard to think of some alliteration, and all I could think about was stupid bungalow.
Well, you were close. Yeah.
The bungalow got me to bunker.
Well, you're right.
It takes
if
a
my
decent
safe
idea.
shot
My
didn't
brain
happen,
wasn't
then
going
you're-
anywhere, and you just said bungalow. I was like,
If
why not
I didn't
bunker?
lay up, then you couldn't have run it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, and it doesn't have any windows. It's in my basement on the side that doesn't have
I
windows.
feel like the office that you just described wouldn't have windows.
I don't know,
Because you don't
just
wanna
a
know-
singular light above
I'm
the
picturing
desk.
like a singular
Yeah, 'cause
light.
you don't
some,
want
like
a sense
cigar
of how
smoke
long you've been in
kind
there.
of like in there.
Just
You
a
don't want to
smoke
be able to.
machine.
You don't want to be able to keep track of how long you've been in there.
Yeah,
because like you're not out till the project is done.
That's true. That okay.
The all business bunker.
Yeah, like neglect
No,
your
you know
children.
what? You need to build
You
it
need to make
outside.
sure you neglect your children.
Underground.
Well, different way we were going.
Okay.
I was saying this is the all business bungalow.
Oh, okay.
It's
Oh,
outside.
okay.
It's a
Or
mud
put it
hut.
underground, and it can be all
all
business bunker.
and
yeah.
then we can move the storage room outside for the bungalow.
Bungalow. No, you have the all business bungalow. It's a little bit more playful. Okay, then
Underneath, it's elevated.
down.
Yeah.
That's the all business bunker.
See, my boys, I built them a tree house that they do not use.
Bungalow.
That, and I'll just turn that into I'll turn that in the bungalow, and it like I'll just do like a fireman's pole from
Through
the
the- inside the tree.
Inside
in
the tree.
down to the base.
Hollow out the
bunker.
tree, and you walk into the tree and just slide down the fireman's pole to the all business bunker.
Yeah, like
And then
like
y'all
Men in
have a
Black.
button there that like a thing comes out of the ground. And I can drive like a motorcycle out of.
Perfect. There we
Ooh,
go.
that's cool. Motorcycles are cool.
Yeah, but an all black motorcycle
Okay.
with a brown leather.
All
seat.
business, all black.
Yep.
all business bike.
Yeah.
Business is the new black.
That I think. I don't know. Yeah, and yeah, I really want an office. That's just
Yeah.
what it comes down to. Don't we all?
No,
Yeah.
I think every man wants a man cave / office.
Yeah.
You can put all your MVP discs in there from all the different manufacturers that they have. You
Well,
can,
that's my intention is my
Full
intention
circle.
is I'm gonna walk. What my vision is, we're cleaning out the basement, like I said.
Okay.
And why I'm riding with my wife's minimalist instincts of getting rid of as much as I can muster up the strength to. So we've done like 15%.
Hunter, I feel like you might not be hearing it enough. I'm proud of you.
I'm
I
excited.
know getting rid of that stuff is difficult. I'm proud of you. You need to know someone's proud of you.
Thank you. And then what my plan is like the next 15, 20% is almost the office, and then the next part's the office. And once the office is cleaned out, I'm buying a desk on Amazon. I'm painting all the walls black. And then I have the Seek Discomfort flag that I think still at the warehouse. That's going up. I'm going to get a BPN Prove Yourself Right flag for the other side. My discs are all in the middle. And then I have room on the wall above them where I'm probably going to hang like my old disc golf bags on the wall up there. And then my desk is going to double as where I have my video games. So then I have a multi-purpose for it. So I can, the main goal for this is right now when I go home and I have to film debate night, I just do it in the loft. And if Luke is napping, my voice carries, I'm upstairs and there's no walls up there. It's a loft. I wake him up more times than not. But if I'm in the basement, I'm like under our bedroom, so on the other side of the house, and there's insulation is the entire roof. Yeah. So he won't hear me down there. Secondary point of this is Luca is now sleeping in his own room all night. So we put him down at 7. I now have free time again. I'm a free man. But I'm not a free man and I can't really go out because my son's asleep upstairs. You can't leave a kid at home by himself. Not true. At this age. Once he's like a year and a half, yeah. But,
easy.
So my thinking is I put him down at 7, and one or two nights a week, I have to negotiate with the wife, figure out this out. 1 or 2 nights a week, I can go downstairs and play Warzone and try to strike back up. Because all my buddies who I used to play Warzone with every night, one of them just got married, but his wife's pretty chill. And when I was playing Warzone, I was married. But when you're married and you don't have a kid yet, and you're like, he lives in he doesn't have like a lot of stuff that he's doing every night. And he works from home. He has free time to play video games. His wife also works from home, which I think helps. They both work from home. So he has free time to hop in video games. Other guy I played with...
And they're sick of each other.
Maybe. No, they're definitely not. They're madly in love because they just got married. My other buddy, he's my brother-in-law. He's single. He's just at home. He has a job during the day, but he's just at home at night. So one text, they're both in. And then we're dropping in, and it's like good old times. So that's my plan is... get my monitor back up from over there, get my PS4 running again, get Warzone back up and at it, and then like 2 nights a week I go down to my office. First off, vibes are incredible. Put the mini fridge back, and then just drop in on Warzone, play till like 2 a.m. and regret it the next day.
I love that.
Yeah,
I'm very excited. It's probably not actually going to happen, but it's going to happen.
I realized that when we were talking about office decorations or whatever, decor, what's a manlier way to say decor?
Knickknacks.
Knickknacks.
Paddywhacks.
Paddywhacks. So whenever I think about office paddywhacks,
give that dog a bone.
So whenever I think about office dog bones, then I was thinking of like there's 2 posters that I have not hung up, but they're like the most prized like posters to me. I guess 3 because one of them is this right here. I have the patent for a disc golf basket.
Oh, nice.
That's done in like kind of a cool trendy way.
That is really cool.
Like that.
Yeah, I like that.
That's cool. So that I brought that here because that makes sense, since we are a frisbee company after all, and it like looks cool. It doesn't look like super like kitschy or anything. And then I have a really cool poster that my mom and dad got me for Christmas a couple years ago, and they had it specially made by like a guy who does this, and it's my exact car, so 1987 BMW 535i, and it's done in a diagram actually very similar to the patent, and it has like break off lines describing each spec. So it's That's like cool. Exactly my car, exactly like the year, the model, everything, and then the specs of everything, the power windows, the 3.5 liter like engine, like the every single part, the suspension.
Does it have the drained bumper?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have the bumper tuck, but so it has like everything to the spec of that car, which is really really cool. And then I've got another poster that they got made for me that is really cool. It's like a printed canvas that's like, I mean, it's big. It's the size of one of those lights, the one right there. It's like that size of a square.
It's that bright.
and then it's framed in a nice like black wooden frame, and is the cover art of our single on Spotify.
Nice.
Exit 44. If you haven't listened to it.
Of Potential of the song, and but I like whenever I see them, I want to hang them somewhere, but also at the same time, I feel like this sense of like sadness whenever I see them because the car one just reminds me of something that I love so much but neglect because I love that car and it was everything to me whenever I bought it and I paid so much attention to it. Now I just don't have time to do to it what I need to do to it. It's a car that needs to be kept running and I don't have time to keep something running. And so I just don't like it's in the parking lot of our shop right now.
If you want to see it, it's stop by the shop.
It's like a museum.
Well, it's difficult because if I want to drive it home, I got to leave a car here. So I need to get someone to drive me by here. Maybe I'll pick it up tonight. But
then they can't come by and see it. I just told them
that's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
leave it for another
Well, it's very
week or
like
so.
it's dirty right now. There's brake dust all in the rims. It's just like it's a mess. And so it reminds me of that. So I like almost am ashamed to have that poster because someone's like, "Oh, you're really into cars?" Like I wouldn't notice because your car looks like crap. And then like the Exit 44 poster, obviously like nothing ever became of that. I never released another cent of music, and so
It did have a lot of potential.
I was gonna say, is it irony?
like, will it ever be more than potential?
That's what I'm saying. Is it irony that that's the song?
Yeah,
That's the
that is
single.
very true.
But for the record, I want to say that is a great song.
It's a fantastic
Well,
song.
thank you. It's
It
very
unironically gets stuck in my head like twice a month.
Mm-hmm.
Liz does not enjoy it.
You just gotta get past the actual quality of it.
Well, that's
Well, I don't have good enough ears.
It was made in the trash room of a college dorm.
Sounds great.
Well, that's fine. I think it sounds just fine.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I do that. The song does mean a lot to me. But it like maybe
I
I
think
should
get the band back together.
That's not going to happen. We are sprawled across
Well,
the U.S.
but with modern day technology,
Yeah.
you don't actually need to be in the same room.
Well, that doesn't sound like fun to me though. Like the fun part was being like
Just
together.
Zoom call it.
Listen, here's the thing. I need to hang it up and it needs to be like motivation to be like, no, I need to get something going.
I think you need to listen to the song every morning.
Yep.
I'll go crazy. I already can't listen to it.
But I just think you hang it up anyway, both of those things, because just change your mindset. That car means a lot to you. It doesn't have to mean you're a failure. It just means it means a lot to you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean,
You can't get the poster running.
The poster's in great shape.
yeah, it's there. And then, be proud of your music.
Hey, you have one more single on Spotify than I will ever have.
That's true. Remind me sometime, guys. I got to show you some of my old band stuff.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I would
And
love to hear it.
Particularly, one thing we were known for was this Britney Spears cover we always did.
That's sick. I love covers. I love it whenever you take covers. I don't like it whenever you take covers and you do it like the original because to me,
this is not like the
most of the time whenever
It's
you
like
cover
a
a
Pop Goes
song.
Punk version.
Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah.
It's Womanizer, just so you know. Of all the songs.
Whenever you redo a song to be a completely different style, I love it. I think it's so cool.
I also there's a deep cut track that we did the Heat Miser, Snow Miser song from.
No shot.
Yeah, we did. It's again
I love
poor
that.
quality. It was recorded in an old doctor's office.
Okay.
That we had this loft apartment on like Main Street in the town we lived in, and right beside it was an old doctor's office, like the cherry mahogany.
Heck yeah.
Like everything was that wood,
That's
like I was
awesome.
talking about. And our landlord, it was just there. You went up this creepy stairwell, and that was on the left, and we were on the right.
That's sick.
And I asked her, I'm like, hey, can we use that to like record? So it had like a lobby, like a little waiting room. That was the control room. I had all my gear and stuff in there. There was a room next to the exam room that I made a live room. And then there was like an old closet that I made a
That was the vocal booth. That is so sick.
It was the coolest. Like the quality of this song is not great, but I still have it just because I love, number one, I love claymations, first of all. But that is my favorite musical item from any of those claymations. And it just,
We watch it every year.
I'll share
That's
that.
that's
I'll share that. It's a good one.
It's awesome.
It's a good one.
That's fun.
All right. Well, it's the end of the banter, which means it's time to see who's on the next week's banter.
Oh, I totally forgot
been
about
a
this.
Connor's,
Yeah.
so Connor's always on the banter. If this is your first week listening.
Wow.
And
I'm the banter boy.
we spin the wheel to decide who sits in these two seats.
Brad, the reason being is because if somebody else was sitting here, then I would have to be away from my desk for an
He
hour.
couldn't work.
I couldn't work. That seems
And
weird.
and then I
Yeah.
was like, well, we could go film. And then I realized there'd be a chance of it being me, Trevor, Silas, and then Connor's just like floating.
Yeah.
We're like, no, it probably makes sense that Connor's always on the banter
Yeah.
because that's just where he works.
I do love that. The banter is my favorite podcast.
It's spinning.
Oh,
Uh-oh. Spin the wheel.
Seat number 1 will be held by. Wow, that was close.
Yeah.
Me. I'm back, baby.
Hunter's back.
All the Hunter haters.
The wheel loves him.
Bad news. I woke up. Secondary person's being spun. It's gonna be Brad again.
Is it?
Yeah, it's me, Brad, and Connor back next week.
There we go. Let's run
If
it
you
back.
if you didn't like this episode, I'm sorry. Don't tune in next week.
Come back for another one.
That's the only thing I'm confused. I wonder if this is gonna make people be like, I don't want to listen to that. I'm not gonna listen. You know what? You guys open your mind.
Yeah.
You can see that picture of failure on your wall, or you can see something that you love.
Yeah, you could see this podcast as something that you don't really enjoy because we don't talk about anything that you're interested in, or you could see it as
But you never know.
something that
we
you
never
could-
know what we're gonna talk
something
about.
more positive.
Yeah, go back to this. Scrub through this episode. There's something you can relate to in this episode.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
worth your time.
And if there's not something you could relate to, then here we go. We'll hit you with some. Airplanes.
Ooh.
Amsterdam. You guys name something.
European Open.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that one might be Prime Energy.
Makeup. Makeup tutorials.
Cattle farming.
Make out.
Oh.
Make out
Sports.
tutorials.
Yeah.
Sports. Make out tutorials. All
I
right.
think
on that
that's
one.
that's
Yeah.
that's
All right, we're out.